What's up, everyone? Welcome into the All 22 NFL Show, the official channel of the All 22 Fantasy Football platform. It's the only fantasy football game with full 53-man rosters, including offensive linemen, where you get to choose personnel packages and have access to PFF grading and advanced stats to make decisions each week. To learn more and sign up, go to all-22.com. Ray, we just finished cornerback episode. You told me, get back on the horse. We're doing safety. And I'm here for it, man. I'm ready to go. This safety class is being very hyped up as a very good safety class after basically years of semi-weak groups of safeties, right? There's been some guys that we've liked, but I think this year is supposed to be the year where if your team needs a safety, you can go find one. Guys, we're doing a film review. We say it every time. We're going to say it again. This is not a highlight tape. We are showing you trends. We are showing you the true colors of the players that we're going to be reviewing today. So if you were looking for a highlight tape, I still hope you stick around, but that's not what you're getting today. Ray, how you doing, buddy?
I can't wait. Let's wrap up the defensive back group here. So safeties are pretty brutal to watch sometimes because there's just a lot of non-involvement in the play. So I'm just glad we're going to break them down and move on to the next position. So let's just get on with
it. See, to counter that, Ray, I think there's something on every play for a safety to be doing, unless it's like the opposite field. There's a lot that I am showing in these highlights. Like we do 5 plays in 5 minutes, right? That's the rule. I was bad at that today. I'm going to be honest with you, buddy, because there's run plays, there's in the box, there's lining up man-to-man. Like there's a lot of stuff to uncover in these prospects. Let's jump into it, dude. Let's just do it. We'll jump into AJ Haulcy from LSU. I'm going to be doing this one. He's a senior, 6 feet tall, 222 pounds, 22 years old, 702 snaps played on the defensive side of the ball this year with an 86.6 PFF grade. He played 86 snaps in the slot, 134 in the box, and 484 deep. So we're looking at a guy that primarily played kind of like a free safety type role. So we're going to go into play 1 here. You see him at the bottom of your screen, number 13, I believe. And he's going to go into that true center fielder type role here. And he's going to get there. And I just think that he hesitates too much. I think if you look at this play, Klubnik is clearly looking at the far side of the field. And Haulcy is playing center field. So he needs to get there. That is his job. And I feel like he's kind of playing patty cake a little bit, right? Like he's waiting instead of attacking. So that's what he does. And the ball's in the air here, right? If you play this a little bit better and you get there a little bit sooner, there's a chance that this deflection is yours instead of you kind of bypassing it. So I'd like to see him just be a little more aggressive. So we're going to go into play 2. Here he is again, kind of in that center fielder type role. And let's see what happens. So has to split the field. And this one I like, right? I like his feet. I like how he sees the threat at the far side of the field and then he feels the threat coming on his backside, right? So here we go. We have 2 players here attacking your zone. You have to split it. So get your hips around and go get the football. And he does a nice job attacking. I like the physicality. I just wish that once the ball was in the air, he went with a little bit more juice and just didn't necessarily wait. Go attack the football. Don't try to kind of like get into some lopsided tackle, right? Like just go attack the football. So here on play 3, again, he's in that center fielder type role. And you have to split the field again, but your only real vertical threat on your side of the field is the one at the bottom of the screen here up the sideline. And Klubnik is clearly going that way. So you have to get there fast, right? And here, you can't see it at this angle. I'm going to show it the other angle. But the receiver and the cornerback right now are fighting for the football. It is still in the air. And he's kind of just watching. This is a theme that I noticed with him. It's just kind of being hesitant, not being overly aggressive. If you're an NFL football player, you win. You make money being aggressive. So again, the ball's in the air. You should be on your high horse, ready to lay somebody out or go get the football. Instead, watch the hesitancy. The ball's still in the air, and then it falls to the ground, and you missed out on an interception, right? If you were there helping out the cornerback, there's a chance one of you gets that football. So here he is again as the center fielder. There's a blitzer going, so you now need to go and replace. Klubnik sees the blitz and tries to put the ball over top of it, and it's a good job getting there, but why wait, right? Why get flat here? You see that the receiver is going flat. Go jump this route. Go interrupt the play. But it was a positive outcome nonetheless. So next play here, we see he's at the bottom of your screen as the safety. 87 is attacking him in his zone. So he's going to follow 87. And safeties need to be able to match up with tight ends in the NFL, right? I understand you get tangled time to time. It happens, but the tight end kind of just makes him kind of babies him a little bit, right? Like, I'm bigger, stronger, faster than you. If you put hands on me and we get a little bit of contact, you're going to the ground and I'm going to take this football and I'm getting upfield. So I'd want to see him absorb that contact a little bit better. Again, it happens. Players get tangled. There's 13, right? Top right of your screen. You get tangled. It happens, but I don't like seeing that it happened against a tight end just because I want to see that you can be physical with him. And I didn't really see that against tight ends enough. Next play here. So sorry, I didn't call it out again. Let's rewind. So he's at the bottom safety of your screen, right? There's a safety at the top, safety at the bottom. He's the one on the bottom. He has a receiver to his outside, no tight end. Again, I felt like we're just being too hesitant, right? You see him breaking, you see Klubnik throwing the football, and your feet are still flat. You should be firing downhill right now. And he doesn't, and it's just kind of like the play gets broken up, right? Your corner, whoever it was, made a nice play on the football, but just go attack this, man. Like, to me, it's a lot of hesitant play. Here he is again as the free safety, and now he's coming down fast, right? Another replacement kind of play on the tight end. The tight end gets there, and I like that he got there quick. I like that he was able to be physical enough to tackle the tight end. He didn't get, stripped off or anything like that. There's no yak on this, right? You kind of suffocated the fire as quickly as you possibly could. So that's what I got for Haulcy, right? I think this is a good player with good instinct. He gets to the point of the ball very well. He sees the field well. It's just really at the point of attack when he has the opportunity to finish a play that he didn't always do that. And that's a little concerning to me when I see that he's kind of being mocked as an end of the first round, early second round type player. I don't know if I'm seeing that, right? I'm seeing a second round player. I would take the risk at the end of the second round. But to me, this isn't the guy that I would take in the first round, Ray.
Yeah, it's an interesting group of safeties, and I think that's always a question with a safety position inherently is where do you take non-game-changing safeties, right? If you're not elite in a certain area, given the nature of the position, how high do you want to take a non-elite type of player? Well, we'll talk about it some more, but yeah, I enjoyed the Haulcy breakdown and can't wait for some further discussion here. So, but for now, we're going to transition into Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, the safety out of Toledo. So they're pumping out some defensive backs here in recent years. And this was a fun one to watch, I'll say the least. Chris, what do you got on McNeil-Warren before jumping in?
Yeah, senior, 6'2", 202 pounds, played 654 snaps on defense last year with a 91.9 PFF grade, so pretty impressive. He had 33 snaps in the slot, 401 in the box, and 198 deep. So this seems like a guy that split his time pretty well between being kind of the deep guy and playing in the box.
Yeah, and for the first play, we're going to see how he kind of comes down, and I like how he just navigates through trash. You think of safeties as sort of operating in space and downfield and all that fun stuff, but you also have to navigate through trash and a lot of traffic. So we see here, top of your screen, pointed out by the arrow, and he's going to make his way into the box and just stick his nose in there. And I think you'll see it better from this angle. So again, number 7 here, left side of your screen at the half safety, kind of coming down here. And he flows to the ball and flows to the play, but he doesn't go over the top of the lineman here. I think this is the guard, maybe center, and kind of go over the top of the block to chase down the running back to the far side of the field. Instead, he kind of sees the cut back there and then kind of just squares up and then hits the hole and kind of fills that gap there. So a nice feel for the play. It's not just a straight just run and shoot and hit, but really kind of a nice job of just seeing the play develop and meeting the running back and the ball carrier where the hole was and just kind of putting a stop to it. He had some help from his friends, but again, I like the feel for the traffic there in stopping the run. So good start so far for McNeil-Warren. We're going to see him again here lined up between the hashes there, pointed out by the arrow. He plays deep half coverage, but then peanut punch. Who doesn't love a peanut punch, Chris? He's got a knack for just making plays here. So we're going to see it again. So he's covering his half of the field, sees ball thrown. Okay, I'm going to transition now to help out my friends. Boom, there's traffic. I'm going to stick my hand in there, my fist in there, knock the ball out and recover my own fumble. We're going to see it again, right side of your screen, number 7. So just standard kind of deep half coverage here. Man, long time pre-snap, snap the ball. So completion over the middle, and just watch him come in and just look at that. Look at the windup. Look at the windup. Bam. Ball's on the ground. He recovers it, protects the football on the ground. Turnover. It's just some guys have a knack for that. And McNeil-Warren's just kind of a playmaker like that, especially when it comes to physicality. So you want to see that from a safety, right? This is what you want them to do. Yes, first and foremost, safety, right? You don't want to give up the big play and get beat deep. But if you can also force some turnovers, get some takeaways, those can flip the outcome of a game. Now, we are again just kind of rolling to the motion here. So now we're in between the hashes and we're playing deep middle. And Chris, it's an incompletion. It's great, right? We're going to stop and talk for a second about Toledo's schedule. Toledo played 2 power conference opponents in 2025. Kentucky, first game of the year. I believe it was the first game of the year. And Louisville in the bowl game, your favorite. Okay, that's it. Everything else was a bunch of G5 MAC schools. And, it's fine. Respect to them. You can only play who you play. Mm-hmm. Think he needs to adjust to the speed of the game at some higher levels here, because you'll notice here on his turn, he's a little flat before he gets vertical. Now he feels threatened and then tries to catch up to Hardly Gilmore, the receiver for Kentucky here. Yes, it's an incompletion. Ball wasn't thrown perfectly. A little bit of a better throw. And when you're facing NFL receivers, you're not going to be able to get away with, you see that just kind of that lateral turn. He's not aggressively turning and running. And then if the receiver cuts underneath you, then you can kind of plant and drive down. Instead, he kind of gets horizontal for just a split tick or two, but that's all it takes for the receiver to then get behind you. Now you're in a trail and trying to play catch up. So yes, the result of the play is an incompletion, but I don't want my safety playing trail because he's flat in his transition and then has to recover thereafter. No, that's not what you're there to do. You're there first and foremost to take away the big play. So I think this is a case of someone who, again, is typically the best athlete on the field, not used to that kind of speed, and just has to adjust. So a little bit later on in the game, we're going to have a similar coverage here. So we got some man principles here with the motion. Look at how freaking vertical he got in his drop this time around. He was just wasting no time. All right, he learned. Watch. We're going to start our drop here at the 47, and he goes back 12, 14, 15 yards, just straight vertical. There's no waiting around this time around. He's getting, so he learned. All right, he felt it, made the adjustment. That's great. He's going to probably have a bit of an adjustment to the NFL speed of the game there at the next level, which I guess is to be expected for someone coming from Toledo. And then we're going to wrap it up here where, again, safety. I need you to prevent big plays. And he does that right here. There is nobody. Let's watch it again from this angle. All right. You have a corner to the outside here as the force player, and he blitzes. There is nobody behind him. If he misses this tackle in the open field, it's a touchdown, or at the very least another 20 yards. Running back knows it. He's furious. He's doing the worm in frustration. And again, just watch it here. There is nothing. There is nothing but green grass to the right side of your screen. There is nobody that's going to come and from outside the frame to make this tackle. One-on-one in open space. It's a very difficult play for a safety to make. And a very sure tackler wraps up low and makes the play, prevents a touchdown. Running back's pissed. But that's what you want to see out of your safety. I think Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, I like the frame 6'2", 202. I think he's really long. I think he just kind of has a knack for just making plays. He's just got a good feel for the game. Aggressive player. We talked about aggressiveness with our last prospect here. I think McNeil-Warren has that in spades. He's looking to make a play. He's looking to punch the ball out. He's looking to stick his nose in there in the run game. But there's going to be probably a bit of an adjustment to the speed of the game at the next level. He can sometimes get a little bit flat in his transitions and deep coverage because he's used to getting away with it. That's not going to work. He's going to have to be a bit more detailed and dialed in deep coverage in the pros. But the capability is there. The athleticism is there. I think he can be a really good, I'm not sure he's that type of, just single high, can play both sides of the field safety. He's not really a true center fielder at that level, but he's a really good half safety. He can play center field in a pinch, but he doesn't have that elite range, but very good range for someone his size. I think he's a pretty complete player. I like him quite a bit. Not sure he's a first rounder for me or first round grade for me, but he's up there. There's a lot to like.
Wow, man. So we're 2 safeties in. We haven't even said any of the big names, and we already have a couple guys that we're thinking might be end of first round, early second round guys. So very excited to talk about the next guy. All right. So next up, we have Dillon Thieneman from Oregon. This is a guy that's getting a lot of hype right now, Ray. Junior, 6 feet tall, 205 pounds, still 21 years old, played 812 defensive snaps with a 91.0 PFF grade, had 118 snaps in the slot. So this guy played some slot, like a legitimate amount, 434 snaps in the box, which is his primary position, and then 247 deep. Lots to like about this kid, but we're gonna have some conversations here. So let's start it here. Here he's in the box, looking almost as if he's a monster back, right? You see he's only a yard or two behind the linebacker there. So let's see kind of what he does on this play in this role, playing again, kind of like that monster back. It's a clear run. He sees it quick. If you look, right, linebacker 22 is still lateral. Thieneman is coming downfield, right? He's ready to go, and that's what he does. He's already there, and he's the one that fills, because again, a lot of times blockers don't kind of take into consideration the safety, right? It's go block the linebackers, and once the running back gets to free space, then they're going to see the safety. Thieneman comes down quick here, and he can't be accounted for. Makes a really nice tackle. So I like that, like what he could do in the box. So here he is again, but this time we are lined up in kind of like a coverage role, right? He looks like a cornerback right now. He's at the top of the triangle. He's pinned down over Surratt. And hey, it's man coverage, baby. Let's lock in. How does this go? Not bad, right? So he's not really being threatened here. I think it's more of a ploy look, and he's following, right? His job is kind of just to follow, but hey, no harm, no foul. You live to fight another down. You did your job. Here he's still in the box. Sorry for the crying baby in the background. I hope it's not too distracting for everyone, but that's kind of the world we're living in right now. Thieneman here is in the box at the Chick-fil-A symbol, and again, playing kind of that monster back, and hey, we're firing, right? This is a safety blitz. Let's come down hard. What do? TFL. Love to see it, right? If you're going to do one of these blitzes and the coaching staff calls it at the perfect time, let's go win, right? That's a great play from Thieneman. I really like what this kid can do by affecting the run. Here he is again. This is goal line. He's again kind of lined up with the linebackers. It gets a little messy, so try to track him here. There's a receiver crossing the field. He's staying here, and all of a sudden he says, it's coming back. I need to get out of town, right? It's my job at this point. The corner's going to try to contain it, but it's my job too. 3's attacking. I have to go match him. Okay, I'm starting to see it's a run play, so let me engage. I'm keeping outside leverage. I realize the corner already lost his, and hey, he jumps me, but hey, I stopped this, right? Like I'm the reason this didn't get outside and become a touchdown. This kid is really talented in run defense. Like a lot to like in his run defense play. Here he is again in the slot. So he is the innermost kind of corner lined up here, playing that kind of nickel role. And he's lined up again, like as if this is man corner, and it's exactly what it is. I think this may be Omar Cooper Jr. that he's guarding here. I'm not positive. And the ball's coming, and it's not to us. But hey, I did my job. Again, it's not that I was the one being attacked. Maybe it was a ploy, but I did enough in my role to make sure that, I wasn't the reason for a touchdown. Here he is on the next play. So he's playing kind of a true free safety now. So we get to see him in a different look. And I'm starting to drop back. I am the center fielder, right? He's kind of declared I am center field. And he sees that he's getting maybe a threat to this side. He's playing it a little heavier, and he's got to get there now. And he does a good job of it, right? Like it didn't end up getting called, right? They didn't throw it to Surratt on this one, but he got there in plenty of time. I really liked seeing that. One thing I saw, it was a trend in this game, is whenever he was playing safety, the ball was out of Mendoza's hand in an instant. And they never really gave Thieneman an opportunity to have to make a play on the ball because they were just making sure he couldn't get there in time. It was impossible. So he did a good job when he could, but I think the coaching staff in Indiana really played this game really well. So here he is playing again, kind of the free safety role. Looks like it's about quarters, or maybe it's halves, and it's going to be quick this way. Oh, it's a run, and I missed it. right? So I think he fell for this pretty hard. Again, props to Indiana. They sold it really, really well. But Thieneman kind of got lost here. And Ray, you said it with McNeil-Warren. You're the last man. There's nobody else after you. You have to make this play. And I feel like I watched 15 plays where Thieneman made this tackle, but he's not perfect, and he didn't on this play. So let's see it from the other angle. Just he bought the pass and got to get there quicker. And the reason this one upset me kind of a little bit is I think Thieneman is just about as good as an athlete as anybody on the field. I don't think he had to go low, and I think he could have tried to run with this a little bit and taken slightly a little bit more of a banana angle on this to get deep with him. Yeah, maybe you're giving up a few more yards, but right here, if you start getting a little bit more vertical, I think you can make this tackle in space and not having to kind of dive on his ankles. So you could have slowed him down and waited for help. I would have liked that better from Thieneman. But all in all, again, it happened once against a really good offense. It's not a huge concern of mine. Okay, here he is again playing that deep safety role. And let's see what happens here. So, okay, we're getting deep. It's our time to get deep again. We're free. So we see that our eyes are on Mendoza, and he reads it really well, and he opens and starts heading to where Mendoza is looking, and we really got to get going. And he does, right? He gets there in plenty of time and does a really nice job just making sure that there isn't space for that ball to be caught. So here he is again, kind of lined up over the slot, but this time deep. So I wanted to show it from a different look. Okay, it's a screen. How are we coming down on screens? Really nice job, man. This kid comes down really well against the run. Seriously, like no concerns against screens or run plays at all. I think he can do all of that really well. But this is where it gets a little tricky, right? Ray and I did a receiver review video on Elijah Surratt, and we both really liked him. This is a guy that's going to catch a ton of balls in the NFL. A safety that plays primarily in the box is going to have trouble on a receiver like that. And I'm pretty sure this is that play, but they were doing kind of a box combo, so I have to take the inside threat. When you're taking the inside threat, you better be prepared that if he keeps coming inside of you, like if you see Thieneman's hips right here, they're pretty locked into the outside. It's going to be pretty hard to turn around in this stance. Surratt is, again, he's a classy player. He knows what he's doing, and he builds on this and gets over top of it pretty easy. And look at that. You're kind of lunging, you're reaching, you're totally out of position, and it's a touchdown. So the one play that I really fault him for not doing the job I would have liked him to do is this play. You just can't be flat-footed against a receiver like that. Surratt is going to win this 10 times out of 10. I feel like this is a player that does everything that a coach is going to ask him to do. He's going to be willing to do it, right? He's going to play free. He's going to play in the box. He's going to play in the slot. And he's going to give you his all on every single play. So I like that about him. And against the run, this is going to be a true difference maker. And in today's NFL, we know that there's roles that are carved out for players just like that. But when it comes to being a true kind of man-to-man safety, I get a little bit concerned that he does not have the current chops to do that. He's only 205 pounds, and the type of athlete he is, you think that maybe he can grow into that role. But the receivers at the next level are a lot more athletic than Elijah Surratt, right? That's the one concern we had about him, is maybe Surratt isn't the best athlete. So I thought Thieneman should have been able to line up and really guard him. I worry at the next level that if he's asked to play more of that kind of a role, it's going to be a bit of a struggle. But again, this is a player, I get the first round conversation. I really do. Would I do it top 15, top 20? I don't think so. But I think when you're talking about pick 25, 28, 30, 32, that range is fine. I'm kind of buying all day on this. This is a really good football player.
I would take him at 20 and not think twice about it. So I guess I like Dillon Thieneman a little more about you, but and we might. Shoot, we might.
And you might.
I really like him. I think he could do everything except that man coverage role effectively. And even I don't think he'll be terrible at it, but it's not something you want him doing. He's really good, Chris. He's damn good. He's nearly complete. I mean, pretty much for a safety, he's complete, because it's very rare to find a true man cover type of safety here. Otherwise, he'd probably be playing corner. But I really like Thieneman and Spade. So when we talk about our full breakdown of the position group, we'll see just how high I might have him. But how high I might have him depends on this next guy, probably. Caleb Downs, the safety from Ohio State. So Chris, give us the rundown on Caleb Downs before jumping in.
Caleb Downs, junior from Ohio State, 6 feet tall, 205 pounds, 21 years old, played 682 defensive snaps last year, 87.6 PFF grade, 146 slot snaps, 241 in the box, and 240 deep. So basically even, played all over the field.
And that's because he could do whatever you want him to do. So we're going to just jump right into it. We've seen a lot of this Ohio State-Texas game. It's been really good to us for some of these prospects. So we're going to keep going. And you see him identified here, middle of your screen by the arrow, duh. And this is what I like about him. So the feel for the game, just look at him cut off this slant and just completely take away the middle, the quick slant at the sticks for Arch Manning. This is third down. They're trying to get that quick over the middle completion. I mean, this defender's beat right here by number 0 over the middle here. And Downs is just flying downhill to cut off this route. And you're going to see from the other angle that Arch has to go to the backside of the field. So watch it right here. He's eyeing this slant to the left of your screen, the right of Arch Manning. And look at Caleb Downs right on the corner, number 2. He's not fully in the frame just yet, but he flies downhill. Arch has to go off of it and then try to hit the crosser for the first down, but it's just short. Downs just has that feel, and it is instant. He sees it and he goes. And yeah, he's kind of a menace over the middle of the field. You have to be careful when throwing over the middle of the field against Caleb Downs because his reaction is truly absurd. So we're going to see here now, again, roughly the same spot, like you kind of said, bit of a monster back roll here, and just watch the timing of the downhill blitz and look at him just negotiate the space with that lineman there. And, you don't always have to square up and actually make contact with these linemen. He can't see what's going on behind him. He's kind of there, just kind of negotiating that space, acting as if he might have to break to the outside here. And then he just kind of cuts inside and uses his speed. So the lineman never gets hands on Downs and he just sticks his nose in there and makes a tackle. Watch it from this angle, 2 to the right here. And nope, I'm just going to cut across your body and stick my nose in there. But again, he didn't immediately fly down into the hole there and just kind of get pinned from the lineman, then potentially down blocking him there. He just had a good feel for the timing and spacing of the play. And when the opportunity presented itself, then he kind of flies down and cuts off the hole to make the play. So a really good job. It's not always just about all gas, no brakes all the time. It's really just having a feel, negotiating that space with opposing blockers there to make a play. And he, again, just that feel for the game, he does it in spades here. Again, another kind of over the middle monster back type, 12 yards over the middle downfield. He reads this better than Arch does. Okay. He timed his coverage so perfectly in cutting off this route over the middle that he missed the pick because of how well timed this was. So again, he sees it coming the whole way. Once he sees the drag underneath, his eyes are going to snap back immediately to the slot, to the backside, coming over the middle. Kind of, probably already knows they're going to try to high-low this backer here in front of him. So he's going to go ahead and pick up 0 over the middle and completely cut him off. He does such a good job. I imagine he did not expect this throw to come because why would you throw this ball? He did such a good job cutting off this route. You're going to see it from the other angle here, and he's to the top of your screen. I mean, he was in the window before Arch even threw the ball. And so early that he was surprised by it. It falls incomplete. But again, it just goes to show you his reactionary, his route recognition. Immediately, as soon as that cross underneath crossed his face, he immediately went to this backside slot over the middle to cut that off. He knew what they were trying to do on offense. And does just a great job preventing that throw. Probably too good of a job that if he was a tick later, he probably would have had an interception there. So here we're going to go to the fourth play here. I can't believe I stuck to 5 plays in 5 minutes for Caleb Downs in this breakdown. Some players, I hate these, not that I hate these intangibles, Chris, but it's a lazy argument, but some players are just winners, right? That you hear that a lot. Oh, this guy's just a winner. This is 3rd and goal from the 3 3.5 yard line. You see Caleb Downs here at safety, marked by the arrow here. And he's going to go ahead, stick his nose in there and help in on the stop. They needed all the help they can get because they got him down at like the 1/2 yard line. So if he doesn't kind of stick his nose in there, that's probably enough for the offense to score there. You're going to see it again. And remember what we talked about when we talked about defensive interior players, and I talked about Caden McDonald and having a feel for the game and just being comfortable in chaos and having your eyes up, your head up, seeing what you're going to hit. Watch Caleb Downs again, number 2, right side of your screen. At no point does he even look at 0 from Texas. At no point does he put his head down to engage the blocker. He knows where he's going, though. It's like, again, like a flea on a lion. He knows he's going to have contact. He knows he's getting blocked. That's not his concern. He is so comfortable. He has such a feel for what's going on. He can just kind of shrug off this block, play off of it, keep eyes on the running back the entire time, just shrug off the block and make the tackle and prevent him short from scoring the touchdown. Next play, they stopped him on 4th and goal. That's a touchdown saving play right there. This was a 7-point game. Okay. This was a 7-point game. And now it's 4th and 5. Okay. With less than 2 minutes to go in the game, Texas is down by 7. So they're driving to tie the game. If he doesn't save that touchdown, they're driving just for a field goal to win the game. Okay. Keep that in mind. But number 2 here in the slot on the tight end, avoids the natural pick and just stays on the hit the entire way and doesn't break up the pass. It's actually a completion, but he drives so well that it's short of the first down marker. And that's ball game. He wins the game right here. So again, some players are just winners. So we're going to watch it again one more time in the slot. Yeah, I don't need help. You stay back there. That's fine. And look, this is set up to pick off Downs to give 88 yards after the catch here on the mesh. And he just so deftly it's ever so slight. Just nope. Yep. I'm going to navigate right through that and don't lose ground at all. And I'm going to drive on the ball, make the tackle 2 yards short of the first down. That is just textbook. Yeah, I mean, that's something you either have or you don't. You either have the feel for what's going on around you or you don't, regardless of your testing numbers, your triangle numbers, height, weight, speed. The feel that Caleb Downs has for the game in coverage and in the run game is top notch. It's probably second to none. It is second to none in this class in particular. The hype is real. So this is for sure bona fide first round top 10 type of player. There is the whole, degenerative knee thing that might be an issue. And one thing you don't really see is him in single high, deep center field too often. Typically, if he's in deep coverage, it's deep halves, deep third, that sort of thing. But that's it. That's all there is to it. It's not that he can't do it. It's just that's not really his game. The closer he is to the line of scrimmage, the more impactful he is. He's always around the ball. This is a player that could truly do it all. Again, as long as you're not asking him to be Ed Reed in center field, he can do anything for you. He could fit in any defense. He's going to make winning plays. This is an immediate impact player. We're going to talk, in depth about these safeties, but there's no point in wasting any time. This is a top 10 player for me.
Ooh, all right. It got real spicy real quick, people. We have one more guy left, so I'm pumped to talk about him. All right, we got our last guy here, Zakee Wheatley from Penn State. 24 years old, 6'2", 202 pounds, played 658 defensive snaps this season, 85.9 season grade. This is a guy, Ray, that we had talked about a couple of years ago because when I was watching Penn State games, because you were forcing me to, no, I enjoyed it, just joking. This was a guy that always stood out to me as a difference-making player on the defense. So before I knew who he was, before I knew other guys on that defense, I was watching Abdul Carter and I was watching Wheatley. So that kind of should tell you why, maybe he's not being talked about at the same level as some of the other guys, but why we thought it was important to do a film review on him. And I'm happy that I did. We're going to talk about him here. So arrows pointing to him. He's got a couple guys threatening. There's a couple receivers on his outside, and then there's a tight end kind of in the H-back role. And it's a run play. So time to come down. Can he do it? Yes, he can, right? So open field tackles are big for me. When you're a safety, you need to be able to do that. There's a chance, again, like we look at this, it's kind of open field. hurrah if he gets past Wheatley here. And Wheatley does a really nice job coming and filling and making the stop, right? That's exactly what you need your safety to do, especially a guy in that position was playing a deep safety role. And here he is again playing that deep safety role. He's got trips to his side, but he's playing true deep safety. And there's also 2 receivers to the other side. It's completely empty, and it's 5 receivers on the field. There's not another safety playing deep with him. That's a really hard assignment, right? Just from here, this is really hard. And oh, by the way, like some of these receivers are going to be like top 3 picks in the NFL draft the next couple of years. Okay. So snap the ball, and okay, 16 is going to the other side. So we were kind of trying to fool him. We were disguising it, but I still need to get over these other 3 guys here. And that's what I'm doing. So I'm getting there as quick as I can. But Ray, hide us, baby. Yeah, there we go. So if, you heard me talking about it before with our guy, Haulcy, don't ever be hesitant, right? Like if you see it and you know that it's there and you know that it's happening, trust your gut, man. Just go to this. Go to this as quick as you can. It's Jeremiah Smith. Like that's as hard as it gets. But just trust that you were making the right decision. You saw it. Just go. Fire. Go. That's a really hard play, but I'd like to see a guy at the next level make that play or get there quicker. Here he is, kind of single safety again. Quarterback opens up and is looking straight to the outside receiver on your side. Again, don't wait, right? You saw it. You saw it immediately. Just go. And he actually does a really nice job. Like really, really nice job. Again, this is Jeremiah Smith. This is a top 2 pick, if not number 1, right? Pick in next year's draft. Coming in a quick slant. This is what, teams want as a home run ball, right? We're going to win quick. We have a one-on-one matchup against a safety. Our guy's got 20 pounds on you. We're also faster. And if we just beat that safety, it's a really big gain. And our guy does a really nice job bringing him down there. So this time, let me run it back just so we can get the arrow. He's playing kind of this monster back, middle linebacker, deep role, about 7-8 yards off the line of scrimmage. And he's a little flat for me just in his stance in this position. Right. He's kind of being a little hesitant. His feet really aren't moving, and he's got some guys attacking him fast. If I think that might be Carnell Tate decides to go deep on him, I think he knows he has help behind him, but I'd like to see him just being a little bit more awake. But what does he do? He gets hands-on and he's aggressive, right? I love that. In college, you can do that. You can be extremely hands-on. Do it. Take advantage. That's Carnell Tate. He erases him from this play. I love that play. I love what Wheatley did on this play. That might not be Carnell Tate, but it's
it is. Yeah, it is.
Oh, it is, right? It is. Took him out of that play. Really, really like what he did there. Here he is again, kind of the free safety. He's got 2 guys really wide on a wide side of the field. The quarterback's opening up, looking your way, but he's patient, does a really good job with his patience here, and he's being threatened on both sides. So here he started to move to the far side again. He's got a lot of field to his right, but now he kind of put himself in a position where you went a little bit too far, and now the quarterback is throwing the other way. Now look at this right here. The corner's toasted, right? Carnell Tate has open field if nobody's going to get to him, and you just put yourself in a position where you're really removed from being able to be impactful on this side of the field. And it's a big gain, right? And luckily you got there in time to save it, but I think you overcommitted to the far side of the field. And again, you're in a really difficult position. There's really not a winning answer here, right? Except for just try to split the field a little bit better and don't overcommit. Quarterback did a great job looking you off with his eyes, but at least you saved the touchdown. Again, you were able to recover and get there to keep this from being. And this is kind of a little bit of a knock on Carnell Tate, in my opinion, right? Like when we're looking at him as a prospect, like you want this to be a house call, right? And he doesn't really make the safety miss on this. And Wheatley does a really good job saving the play. Here, I'm only showing this play from one angle. So it's a tight angle here. He is number 6 with his back to you. So he's playing a safety role, but he's kind of tight. I believe this might be a goal line. It is goal line. Yep. So you see that there's a little bit of misdirection happening here, but you're seeing it open up kind of in front of you, right? It's being walled off. 24 does a good job seeing that open space, but he overcommits and you were patient, right? And you stayed and you did a great job staying and keeping this at the 1 yard line and doing what you need to do to stop this run from happening and from this being a touchdown. Because again, 24 kind of guesses, right? But you didn't. You stayed and you stopped that from being a touchdown. That's a really nice play there for Wheatley. I think this is the last play I got. So again, you're far side of the field. You have this guy underneath. It looks like maybe it was a monster back safety kind of position that's taking the short side of the field. So luckily you can concentrate on all of that green to your right and 3 receivers attacking you deep, and you're bailing, right? You're saying, I got to get there. But again, I think you overcommitted, right? This is a bit of, and again, it's Ohio State. There's weapons all over the field. And your coach maybe said to you, hey, just make sure Carnell Tate doesn't get open. Make sure Jeremiah Smith doesn't get open on this play. That really could be what's happening here, Ray. And I thought maybe you would maybe opine on this, but you just sprinted away and there's a tight end up the seam that you're basically leaving alone. And luckily the quarterback overshoots this. But at this point, like an NFL tight end that could be really dangerous, right? That could be really, really dangerous. And I would have liked to seen him split this better. So give you a second to give your opinion just in case you have one.
Yeah, they had King Mack, the other safety there, 16, bracketing Jeremiah Smith at the bottom of the screen. And Zakee on this play just bracketing Carnell Tate. So they had both on opposite sides, Smith and Tate out wide on each end of the field. And I think the whole goal of this play from Ohio State was to spread you out to try to hit you over the middle. But yeah, the purpose of this defense was keep Carnell Tate from beating you over the top, keep Jeremiah Smith from beating you over the top. Pray that your nickelbacks here can take care of their tight ends. And they really didn't. It was just an overthrow. But then again, the tight end is who? Max Clare? Like, we're talking about another NFL level player here. There's only so much you could do. When you play Ohio State, the field feels like it's 120 yards wide at times. It's not long, wide. Okay. You really are in a pick your poison type of situation. But yeah, especially after getting beat deep twice. There was Aldavian Collins got beat on a big play here too prior to this. They just played some bracket coverage to try to limit some of that over the top play from their wide receivers, which left the opportunity for Clare.
Cool. Yeah, no, I appreciate you giving me that. And I think that makes sense, right? If I was the coach of Penn State, that's probably what I'd be saying too, right? Is like, safeties, just don't let those two guys get deep on you. And it really is pick your poison. I think this may be the last play. I could be wrong again. There could be 2 more. But I wanted to show another goal line, just in case you thought the other one was a fluke. So 6 here. Again, being patient, not overcommitting. 24, sees that hole and engages too soon. And you do a really good job with your eyes, seeing where the play's going. And again, you stop them short. Like, that's awesome, man. Like, that's what I want my safety to be doing. And I just love that. Again, he's only 200 pounds. It's not like he's 220, but just no fear of being physical in the goal line situation. Number 3 does a nice job too. But really just love that for them. And here we are again, goal line number 6. And we bit, right? We got really happy. We had 2 run plays that we stopped on the goal line. We're thinking there's another one. And you know what, to his credit, because I've done this before as an athlete, if you watch the offensive linemen, they do show run, right? 70 doesn't, like, there's weird rules in football about, like, an offensive lineman on a run, on a pass play can come forward. It's just about how he engages and how he disengages, whether or not it's a receiver downfield or not, right? So 70 does show me run on this. And as a safety, that's what you were looking at. And you start biting. Yeah, it's a pass. And you bit real hard. And this is an easy touchdown, right? So definitely don't love that. But that's kind of what's going to happen when you're just being attacked all over the place from these different weapons that Ohio State had. This is a guy, again, this is 24 years old. So you're getting a guy with a ton of experience, a guy that knows how to play football, knows how to play the field really, really well, sees things really, really well. And again, a guy that for 3 years I was saying, this is the guy that I really like on this team, on this defense. This is the guy that stands out to me in this defensive back room. I really like him. I think in reality, this is probably a guy that goes in the 3rd or 4th round of the NFL draft. And I think that's maybe a little later than I would, right? Like, I think if this was an early 3rd round guy for me, I'd be happy just because I really like him. But at 24 years old, there's teams that are going to be looking down on that and maybe a little bit hesitant to take him. I just think he does everything well and he's going to show well. Like, who's Zaire Brown? Is that his name that the 49ers
Zaire
took
Brown.
a few?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Safety.
like there's some guys that just know how to play football, right? And even if they're not the best athlete or they're a little bit old and they're a little bit limited in what they can do physically, like they know how to play football and they're going to make a difference on your team. And a coach like Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers are going to know how to use him, right? I could see that happening here for Wheatley. Is a team with really good coaching is going to know that this is a guy that can ball, and they're going to really value that and take him, and he's going to have a great NFL career. So I'm excited for him.
That's the ultimate litmus test for whether or not these NFL teams know how to draft, is where they take Zakee Wheatley. So we'll talk about that some more because, yeah, they should be better than that.
All right, my men, let's welcome in audio-only listeners. If you were just joining, we just did a film review on the top safeties of the 2026 NFL draft class. This is a group. This is a really fun group. We talked about it yesterday. This is a draft where maybe you're looking at the offense saying, where's my guys? Where's the depth? Where's the playmakers that I want? But you go look at the defensive side of the ball, and some of these position groups are deep. And safety is one of those positions groups. So again, if you're just joining, go to YouTube. I highly recommend it. Go watch that film breakdown so you can learn about the trends that these players, who they really are. Now we're going to do a breakdown of where we rank them and what we think overall of these players. We did 5 guys. That's typically what we've been doing. We stuck to it here. Again, if you like what we're doing, like and subscribe. That's how we're going to be able to continue to do this. Hit the like button, hit subscribe, follow this channel, help support us. Even just doing those 2 things is huge support, and we really appreciate you guys doing that for us. Helps us to continue doing this in the future. Ray, we've reviewed 5 guys. I want you to start it off. Who is your number 5 of the group that we've reviewed?
I think we have the same 5 or the same 5th. It's Haulcy, the safety out of LSU.
Ooh, okay.
If it's not, then you're gonna oh man, then right off the bat. But no, I like Haulcy. I think he's fine. The problem is where do I take a fine safety? Because I think he's fine in deep coverage, right? He won't get you destroyed there. He's fine coming down supporting the run. I think he's a fine tackler, but he doesn't do anything that makes me jump out of my seat. He's a very just safe, kind of okay type of player who, yeah, if you have a need there, fine, he'll fill it and he'll be fine. But I don't see a difference-making player there. He's not a difference-making type of ball hawk. Doesn't seem to have that knack for kind of those turnover or takeaway plays. He's just a pretty good player, and that's great. That's phenomenal. You don't really. A lot of people don't ask for more than that from their safeties, and that's great. But if I'm going to put you in the top 3, 4, 5, or 5th, if I'm going to put you in the top 3 of a draft class, or if I'm going to try to take you in on Thursday or Friday of draft weekend, I need something that gets me excited, something that can kind of put me over the top against my opponents here. And I don't see it. I think he's someone who's going to grade pretty well, and he's just going to be safe. He'll probably be the 27th, 25th best safety in the NFL, for a few years, just kind of right there, middle of the pack starter, which is fine. He's fine.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. He's my 5th as well. He's a good football player though, and at the end of the day, like we have a really deep class and somebody has to be 5th. Just for the people listening that just joined, right? LSU safety, 6 feet tall, 222 pounds. He's 22 years old. This is a guy that for 222 pounds, like, he's not very physical, right? And I'd like to see him be more aggressive. I think his instincts are great, right? Like he puts himself in position to be successful pretty consistently. It's just at the point of attack, why not finish? Why not be a little bit more aggressive? Why not take the head off of somebody or go attack the football? It was concerning to me why he's hesitant. Saying that, I think at the NFL level, if he gets the right coach and he's coached up well, this is a guy that's going to do really, really well and really good things at the next level. I'm taking him mid-second round. Like I think he's good enough to be a mid-second round type of player, and hoping that you can unlock what that little bit that's still missing from his game. But he's a player I really like. There's 5 players in this draft at safety that I really like enough to be saying mid-second round is my 5th. That's for safety. That's great.
Yeah, I have him probably mid-third, but same thing applies. I think if you have a creative defensive coordinator where he might be able to help you out as a big nickel, given his size. And maybe if he's playing in, because again, he just doesn't show that playmaking knack, that ball hawking knack with the ball in the air. So if you don't have that at safety, maybe then you're just more disruptive in the nickel. It's possible, but I think
weird,
he can.
Though, about that is like his movement skills are good. Like his body is fluid. Like he moves well. Usually those nickel guys, like this. Oh my gosh, Emmanuel from last year. Like they're big dudes that don't necessarily have the movement skills to be that free roll. Haulcy can do all of it. Like I don't think there's anything he can't do. It's just like, what is he going to be great at, right? I don't know if I saw that, and that's what you're saying.
Exactly. So maybe unlock something as a big nickel. I don't know. It's a possibility, but yeah, because I don't know what he's going to be great at. That puts him in the third for me, just because I still think I could find someone somewhere, whether it's at safety or otherwise, that could be great at something in the second. So, for all 22 users, late 6th round pick, maybe. I think he's right around that range because, now you're talking around the 50s, 60-ish. So, you like him there, you could take him. He's probably going to be a pretty safe bet at safety, which is hard to come by in the NFL these days in particular. So again, it's not a knock on the player. It's just the difference making value add may not be there that vaunts him into the top 40 or so, like some other players.
Right. All right, Ray, are you ready for my kind of spicy take of the day?
You have Dillon Thieneman as your 4th safety in this class, and it's crazy. No.
I don't. I have Emmanuel McNeil-Warren as my 4th safety in this class. And it's funny, like the film you're showing me, 6'2", 202 pounds from Toledo, for those just joining. The guy moves awesome, but almost as if he played basketball his whole life and not football. Like he's a little bit hoppy. Like he's kind of up and down a lot. Like he's kind of bouncing a lot. And sometimes that kind of leaves him in this weird position where if you're bouncing and you're going vertically, it's hard to transition to long speed, right? And get going. And I kind of noticed that, like when he missed, it's because he's being a little bit too up and down and not necessarily enough settled and ready to attack. You got to control that, right? And this is, maybe you played at Toledo, and yeah, maybe some good football players have come out of Toledo recently, but like it's not Ohio State, Penn State, USC, Alabama kind of territory, LSU, like no shade on anybody I didn't just mention, but it's not that level where maybe he's not getting the best coaches teaching him the right fundamental way to play this. But I still am really high on him, where I can see a team, and I would be okay with the team taking him early 2nd round, because I see how good of an athlete he is, right? Just because he's a little bit too NBA for me right now doesn't mean that can't be carved and molded into a player that's for a long time really, really good. And I see that really, really good player in there that can be unlocked, but it might take a little bit of time, and there might be a few rough years before we get that really great player.
Oh man, I don't know if this is going to be it is going to be a great episode, because they're all great episodes, but I'm not sure how spicy of an episode it's going to be, because McNeil-Warren is also my 4th, and I like him a whole lot. I think between 3 and 4, I think it's a matter of what you prefer at the position or what you need at the position. If I don't need a center fielder, if I don't need a deep, consistently deep, single high type safety, I'm perfectly content and very happy with McNeil-Warren, because he does a really good job triggering downhill. He's really physical, and he has a knack for just making some plays around the football. Some guys just have that knack to them, and he has that. He also has great length, good frame, and there's definitely upside there, still blood on the stone coming from Toledo. I think what you mentioned there, yeah, and it's frustrating to watch. It's just because, again, he's playing at Toledo, dude. He's 0.2 faster and quicker than every single one of these other skill players on the field. And, he freelances a little bit. And, sometimes that's par for the course for some of these guys that make those types of plays, that just have that knack for being around the ball. It's kind of, you take the good with the bad a little bit. But I think that's going to have to settle down in the NFL, because you can't waste any steps in the NFL. It doesn't matter who you're playing against. You could be playing against the Browns off. You can't miss or waste steps in transition, or especially at safety, because they'll get behind you and you'll be in trouble. So there's stuff to clean up. But the difference that keeps him at 4 instead of 3 for me is the fact that my 3, I think, has much more range, which is Zakee Wheatley, who I think we have both at 3, but I have him at 3, so I'll transition into him and just say they have the same listed size. I think McNeil-Warren just seems bigger. Like I think Wheatley's more wiry. I just looked up; they had his arm length at 31 inches. Zakee Wheatley, that's impossible. Okay, he's built like a spider. That's wrong. His arms are much longer than 31 inches. I'll just say that for sure. I don't think he ran a 40 at the combine, and even at Penn State, he never tested as fast as he looked on the field. So, based on the range that he covers on the field, you would say this is a 4.4 player. He never ran that at Penn State. He might have ran at their pro day. I don't know. Pro day times I truly don't care about. They don't count to me whatsoever. But he plays faster than he times. And he has that range. He can go from the opposite hash and make a play on the football in the air. And he also has that same knack for turnovers and takeaways that McNeil-Warren has. I just think he's more rangy. I think, and even though this is a pretty good aspect of Wheatley's game, I do think McNeil-Warren is better downhill in the run game in the box, but they both do it well. So the tiebreaker to me goes for the player with more range. At the same time, McNeil-Warren's 21 and Wheatley's 24. So, you could slice this apple any way you want. And I don't think there's a wrong answer between the two of them. It's just a matter of their play styles are a little bit different, but they bring a lot of the same things to the table as far as overall impact goes. So I have Wheatley at 3, McNeil-Warren at 4, but they're both very close to me, and I don't hate you for whichever one you have over the other.
Yeah, no, and it does stink that we're kind of lockstep because I have Wheatley here as well at 3. If I have to spend a lot of time, if I have to make this pick and I take McNeil-Warren and I have to sweat a little bit every day, knowing that I have a lot of work to do, that's a little scary, right? I don't have any of those concerns with Wheatley, even if the final product 3-4 years from now may be a little bit less, right? It may never have the ceiling that McNeil-Warren has, but I feel really good about what I have for the next 3-4 years, 5 years, whatever it is, with Wheatley. I love the effort. I love the physicality. I love that his instincts are just like, he's 24, but he plays like a 24-year-old. Like, he's so instinctual in the way he gets to the football and the way that he sees the field. He's aggressive. He's not afraid of contact. There's nothing about his game that makes me feel like he doesn't belong, right, with the big dogs, right? I'm really good with that. And I mean, on top of this doesn't go into our rankings, but I could really see a team being able to get Wheatley in the 3rd or 4th round. And I don't think that about these other guys. And that's an age discount, right? At 24, you're going to get an age discount. Give me Wheatley in the end of the 3rd round, as opposed to having to spend an early 2nd on McNeil-Warren, which is what I'm seeing, right? To me, that's a no-brainer.
Wheatley should go in the top 40. That's all I'm going to say.
I know, but he won't.
He needs to go in the top 40. That's crazy. Well, we'll see in 3 weeks. A team might know what they're doing, Chris. A team might know what they're doing.
Yeah, we'll see. There are some good teams out there, so we'll see.
Yeah, but I forget which scout it was, but there's the famous quote, like, come draft time, you have to worry about 6 teams. There's 6 teams you have to worry about during the draft that really know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. But someone who knows what they're doing is going to get Zakee Wheatley. They're going to be very happy for it. One
of those teams is us. Just putting it out there.
Yeah, Josiah DeGuara, baby. Tell me about your number 2.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about who's number 2, to be honest. I think 2 and 1, there's a tier 1, there's a tier 2, and then there's a tier 3. But Dillon Thieneman is tier 2 all by himself. This is a really good safety and a really intriguing prospect. This is the safety out of Oregon, 6 feet tall, 205 pounds, 21 years old still. Just a freak athlete, like an absolute freak athlete. And I showed the Indiana game, and it was one of the toughest assignments you could ask for on a safety. And this is a guy that against the run did every single thing that you could have asked for him on every single play. He missed 1 tackle. It was a big play, but he missed 1 tackle. In every other play, he was there making the plays that he had to. I think from a true kind of free safety standpoint, I would worry about him. I don't know if that's what I would do, even though his size suggests that's what he can be. He's great sideline to sideline. I'm not worried about him getting there, but it's really like if he has to match up one-on-one with somebody better than him, or if there's a play, that he has to get to on a ball and he has to make a play one-on-one with a receiver, like I didn't see that skill having been developed yet. Doesn't mean it can't be developed, doesn't mean it won't be developed, but I didn't really see it yet, which to me, again, if I'm taking a safety top 25 in the NFL draft, like where did Derwin James go? Like he was like 17 overall or something. Like you just don't take safeties that early if they can't do everything. So that's where I get a little bit hesitant. I think Minka Fitzpatrick also was like a 20 something. Like you just don't do it, right? I really like Dillon Thieneman, but to me, 25 to 32 is a great range to get a guy like this. Will the Cowboys be aggressive taking him at 20? I've seen mocks where he's picked 12th to you guys. So I don't really know what to expect. He's a good football player. And again, it's like maybe it's just this draft class, and you do take a guy like that in this draft class.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring up this draft class because I think with this class in particular, you have your typical top 15 guys, maybe 17-ish, yeah, whatever. Everybody from like 17 to 65 is just kind of like a soup. There's not much separation. Like after that true tier drop from elite first round graded players, and then your 18 to 65, that bunch of like 40-ish players, they're not that far apart. I think, and Thieneman firmly falls in for me, and I think most people, into the first round bucket. And because there's a clear tier separation between him and those other players that will be at more valuable positions, quote unquote, he's going to go that high. That high meaning I think he's going to go before pick, let's say 22. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to go in that range, and I like him a lot. I mean, the best aspect of his game to me is his reaction, and it probably goes for Caleb Downs too. He flies to the football. He sees it and just goes. I mean, like you showed the still frame where he's like 2 steps towards the ball already, while guys are still in their stance trying to read and react. He sees it and he goes, and that translates into the run game. That translates into deep half coverage. That translates into zone robber. It's all there with the exception of maybe just, those man cover skills. And if he had man cover skills, true man cover skills, was Kyle Hamilton drafted 11th? He would be in that range. So that's the only thing missing. And I think, and it's not that and again, there's still, I think with his athleticism, there's probably more to that, that could be added to his game, to his arsenal, that he'll never be great at it for sure. But what safeties really are? Not many. Maybe the undersized ones that moonlight at his slot corners anyway. But true safeties with that type of build, you don't really find them with that type of skill set. So given his athleticism, given his knack for making plays on the ball, given his feel for the game, clear first round player, probably right around 15th for me. As far as just overall players, maybe even a bit higher once I really get through this thing. I'm fine taking him in the teens. By 22, he should be gone. You're getting an absolute steal for sure.
Wow. Yeah. I'm excited to do our big board episode because there's a quarterback, a running back, 5 receivers we like. Offensive line, there's a couple interior guys, and the tackles are total crapshoots, right? That's the offensive side of the ball. I just need 8 guys that I actually really like. So then you look at the defensive side of the ball, and I think there are a lot. I have 5 safeties in that group above a lot of those offensive linemen, tackles, things like that I would take a risk on before I would take a risk on those guys. So I kind of agree with you. I think maybe it's this draft class is different and we have to take that into consideration. But I think in a typical draft class, I'm leaning more towards that later first round. But that leads us to Caleb Downs, who is unanimous safety number 1. I don't think I've seen a scout not have him number 1. That is the Ohio State safety, who's a true junior, 6 feet tall, 205 pounds, 21 years old. Ray showed his highlights, or not his highlights.
Not highlights. That's the thing. They felt like highlights, but they were not highlights.
Right. Just like his game film. And it's this dude just does everything. This is a guy with the body type, the movement skills, where you really can play him anywhere. Ray, I want you to talk more about him than I am, but I do think there's an interesting conversation where you say 6 foot, 205 pounds. That's another thing. How many safeties traditionally have been taken early in a first round that are that size?
Not a lot, but I think it's changing. I think the NFL beliefs are changing. Well, first off, the other thing is I think offenses like ran the ball more last year than they have in many years, and successfully so. So I think NFL teams have not gotten away from, but they have sort of relieved the tunnel vision that they had, where if I'm going to take a safety high, you have to be, this length. You have to be a complete true center field type player, which there's only been like 5 in 20 years, honestly, if we're being truly honest with ourselves. One of them was probably Malik Hooker, who suffered like 592 injuries to his lower body and extremities and just sapped the type of player that he could have been. So when you step away from that and you just look at, okay, who's the best football player in this draft? It could be Caleb Downs. He might be just the best football player in this draft. And if you're asking safeties to play more two high shells, more cover for, less single high center field type assignments, then there's nobody who does it better than Caleb Downs. The closer he is to the line of scrimmage, he's elite. He's elite. Between 10 and 20 yards of the line of scrimmage, there's nobody better. There hasn't been anybody better in years. Maybe Hamilton. I don't even know if I'd say that. Not in that specific area or that specific skill set. He could be like, if you polled 20 scouts, I'd be surprised if less than 5 of them said he's the best player in this draft. I think at least 5 would say that. He's that good. You got to take him high. There's a certain point where position value comes into play, where maybe you take a great pass rusher over an elite running back or something. After like 3 of those, you can't justify some of these names going ahead of Caleb Downs. You just can't. I'm sorry. Reuben Bain, I'm sure he's great. No, I'm not taking him over Caleb Downs. There's no way.
Oh, all right.
There's no way.
We haven't done the film review yet, so we can't say that yet.
I just said it.
But you could convince me, like, we watched the receivers, and are you really taking a Carnell Tate, who we both had as receiver 1, over this player? I wouldn't. I would take the safety.
Yeah, it's a clear difference in grade for me
between
Carnell Tate and Caleb Downs, with no disrespect to Carnell Tate.
Correct.
So he's just that good. And you saw him impact plays that went to the other side of the field because he was cutting off routes. Some of the best offenses in the NFL are those just annoying type of, I'm Sean McVay, I'm Kyle Shanahan, and I just schemed open this guy over the middle of the field for 7 yards, and then he can get some yak because I really pulled you in one direction and we're flowing the opposite way and you're in trouble. That's not happening to Caleb Downs. He is an eraser at that type of stuff specifically. So the thing that ails defenses the most in 2026, today's NFL, Caleb Downs is the cure. He is the antidote for it. And I'm starting to see mocks. I don't know which one on NFL Network I saw. Caleb Downs went like 15th or something. What?
Yeah,
no.
I don't think that happens.
No. That just means
the
that
floor has to be the Bengals at 10. It has to be.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Can't be out there.
Yeah. If he makes it to pick 10, he can't leave the state of Ohio. He really shouldn't leave the state of Ohio at pick 6, to be honest. Right. But Cleveland might trade out of that. Who knows? But yeah, to me, this is just, he has an argument for the best football player in this draft. And regardless of positional value, if you're one of the few players in this class to make that claim, you really shouldn't drop out of the top 5 or 6. You just shouldn't.
Agreed, man. I think we said it. So everybody, we really appreciate you tuning in today. Please give us a follow on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and X at all22_PFF, and give us a review wherever you watch or listen to your podcasts. Have a great rest of your day.
Go.